Hey YouTube, it's your girl Javina Love back with another video. Welcome back, welcome back. How you doing, my busy bee? Staying busy, I hope. Keeping it sexy, child. We try to always. Always. I've kind of got a headache, but you're not here for that. What you're here for is what you saw in the title. Looked kind of interesting, huh? And let me tell you, let me hook you up and give you some information as I start doing my makeup. Because that's what this is about. It's about makeup and it's about awareness. So this collab is about different charities that we find dear to us and close to us in some kind of meaningful way that we want to give back to, and we want our viewers, our family and friends to consider, donating to something that will do and benefit for them or others, because that's what we need right now in this world. I mean, we have to take care of each other. Humanity is just kaput, My hands are full. Let me take some of these things out of my hands. My charity is very personal, very close to me. Now, I grew up in a family of always doing something like this, so it was very important that I asked my kids who got involved in this too. So, as a lot of you may know, my middle son suffers from asthma. But before I started my YouTube channel, he was hospitalized in our children's hospital. And we were there for way over 2 weeks in the ICU. And he was very rapidly, climbed up after the fact that we left the ICU and we went home. But we were there for the whole month of November, and we went home the day before Thanksgiving. That meant I was away from my brand new baby. He wasn't a baby, but he's 5 years old at the time. For all that time, I could not have him in the hospital with me, and at the time, Corona barely was a bleep on the radar. So we didn't know anything then either. So what they did is they said no visitors, no, a lot of stipulations were put on us to where, and it also, the hospital is a town away from me, so it's almost an hour and a half drive away from me. So there was no coming home and hanging out and then going back to the hospital. My son was emergency airlifted up there, and that was even harder because he didn't even remember being airlifted. That's how out of it he was with his asthma. And it was amazing to them that he even made it through the night, of how low his oxygen stats were, because he could have went into cardiac arrest, he could have went into a coma. It was just a lot. Well, unfortunately, with him being there, but unfortunately, I was very unprepared. I was very shocked. I was extremely scared for him because our local town had no hospitals that specialized for children with asthma. And so he had to be airlifted to this hospital. And it was at a very, 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 like I said, it was the month of November. It was a very, very hard time financially. I was not prepared for that. But, what was to come, because, they don't bill you. That was the wonderful part. They were covered, this hospital was covered, where they don't bill you, but they don't house the families either. They don't, you can apply for, unless, in our situation, because he was so young and in ICU, I was able to get like a rollaway camp bed. But 99% of the time, you had to enroll for the Ronald McDonald House, which is on campus, and be away from your child for that period of time of rest or whatever. But 99% of the time, if you left during their rest, you missed tests, you missed a lot of things. So I stayed in the hospital with my son the whole time. I didn't miss anything. But unfortunately, they don't supply you with any food or housing. Like I said, the housing, so there's no bathroom, no showers. You have regular public bathroom. And it was a struggle, but it was public bathroom. We didn't have a private bathroom. Some hospitals, they have private bathrooms, but that until we were moved into our own room did he get a private bathroom with a shower. And they were quite shocked, how I utilized what I had. Every day I put on my makeup. Every day I would go down to the free stands that they had with snacks and coffee for the parents, and that's what I pretty much ate, even though I was freshly out of the hospital. Not really fresh, I would say about a year from weight loss surgery. And so I was on a special diet. I did bring my protein drinks with me. I did bring a few, things that I could carry with me. And then, like I said, unfortunately, that there's no refrigerators or anything. So not until the last day, 3-4 days, was I able to even get enrolled in the Ronald McDonald House, because they don't allow, it has to be for a long stay. Now, with long stay, it is exactly what it is, what it sounds like. It's when your child is admitted for longer than what they consider, short stay, which would be like 3 days or a day. So once he was marked as after we were there for literally, I told you, almost 3 weeks, they finally wanted to consider him a long day, all day, and I told him long stay, because I financially, I'm getting complaints just from me being in the room, which is unusual. You would think which is unusual, but it's just because, they were very short-staffed. He was in his own private little cubby, but yeah, it's, this hospital was covered with children, every floor, every little cubby hole had kids in it. So, to give the kids some privacy, they have us go stay at the Ronald McDonald House. So I was able to, after the 2 weeks, I was able to get him into a long stay. And long stay was able to get me into the Ronald McDonald House, which would take care of my housing, showering, and food for our stay. But all that is done through the hospital itself. So my charity of choice is Valley Children's Hospital. And it's because they took care of me to the best of their abilities. Hospital, as far as the volunteers, the nurses on staff, they talked to me. They got my story. They seen that I was, making little YouTube videos with my son. This was before this channel, because I have another channel, but I closed that down because it was mainly for family videos, and sometimes I would go, to drag shows, and I wanted to share that with you guys. But they took care of me, and I want to get back to them. And if you're feeling able, I'd appreciate $1 to them. I'm going to leave their information in the description box below, but their phone number and their email for fundraising. so that you can, not fundraising, but for the foundation. And that way you can at least look at the website. Because if all else fails, and you are not able financially to give, which a lot of us aren't, and you guys have been helping me tremendously, and I appreciate it so much. Help me keep my lights on. But for those who can donate to the Ronald McDonald House directly, they take clothes, they take food, they need everything: shampoo, conditioner, towels, whatever you're thinking that you would need away from home, comforts. They try to have them there. Games, movies. So whatever it is you're thinking that you don't really would want to donate or need, there actually are people who need that. Because, like I said, I was there with no hygiene. I did not expect for them, I expected them to admit him for a day or two, maybe at most a week. But I did not expect it to be 3 weeks. I did not expect that. And that was extremely, it wasn't even, the financial part wasn't the worst part of it all. The worst part was not knowing when I could take my child home. He wanted to come home. And then being away from my youngest son, it was just really, really hard, that whole ordeal. So that's one part. The second part, which I have that also linked in the description box, is for the cancer awareness. I've mentioned it before. I haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I've mentioned it before that whenever I was 10 years old, that's how I will say it, because, if you know who I'm talking about, who says that whenever I was in her videos, you'll know who I'm talking about. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. And once again, the Ronald McDonald House took care of my family so that they had a place to stay while I was in the hospital, going through treatment and tests and the whole 9 yards. And I was just a little girl, so I don't consider that I suffered much from it. It just was it was very hard. It's very hard to explain that to a little girl, what exactly is happening to her, or what's going to happen. Because the doctors, they try their best to explain it, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't know anything of what they were talking about. I was scared to death. But I was so happy when it was all over, and it really wasn't over until I didn't have the cancer removed until I was 28. So that's when it was over, and my health was always poor after, pretty much from my birth, but after all that was said and done, I was still a very big girl. So, like I said, but I was very active and unusually flexible. So I was able to live a full range life, and it didn't come back, and it didn't have to deal with remission and any of that jive, which was great. Now that I could say is the best part of it. They got it all. Why they waited so long, I don't know. Maybe because of how traumatic the event was for me as a young child. My parents really didn't want them to attempt to go in and do anything again while I was still so young. And it did play a big factor in me having a hard time conceiving my children. Because if you don't know, my children are 10 and 9 years apart. The older two boys are 10 years apart, and the younger two boys are 9 years apart. So I'm blessed. And I want to, as you see with teary eyes, bless another family that may need it if their baby is in that same situation. So my colors are white, and I'm having a pretty hard time with this white, but I'm getting, it looks like it's sticking now. I think I may need to put another coat of glitter glue. But first I'm going to put a small pat of this on there. But the colors for cervical cancer are white, and the color for asthma is teal. And I had to use my son picked this dual chrome teal for me to do. And he's so proud of this because he doesn't quite remember the whole ordeal, but he does remember the relief he felt when he was going home. He does remember some of the food, because they have like a full restaurant, so he had spectacular food. You know, some kids, you would think that it would be like, yuck, you know, that, but no, they had spectacular food. So, and it was different, different cultures every day, you know, whatever they fancied. They had the cold bars for salads, and my girl Jessica would love their salad bar. I swear, they had the best looking salad bar, and just all kinds of great stuff. And he didn't get to see it, but he, you know, I video chatted with him to show him what exactly I was seeing when I would go get him food from down there, because they would give us, and that's how I ate when I didn't have any money. Every evening, the evening nurse gave the parents one, sometimes two, she gave me 3 of these food cards, and they're only good for that evening. And it's because some kids wake up really, really early and need a snack, some need a whole meal. You know, every baby's different, and I told them, you know, we're night owls, straight up, we're night owls. I do my videos at night for you guys. I do majority of everything at night because I'm not quite awake in the daytime. Just personally, have never been a daytime person. I try to be, but I'm not very successful at it. But we were able to eat with that, you know, because he got his regular 3 meals a day from the cafeteria. You know how they feed you your 3 scheduled, pre-selected for your weight, because they are messing with kids, meals. So he had that advantage, which was great. But he was more hopeful at night when they had those coupons, because their cold bar is what they usually had available, and they made deli sandwiches that were top-notch deli sandwiches, because we're sandwich people. We love sandwiches. Even though the bread is no good, and I always try to get a lettuce wrap for myself, I gotta encourage my kids to start doing the same, because we love some good deli sandwiches. So if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm trying to get these Lily Posh glitters to stick, and I'm dusting away any excess because I want it to, you know, be very bold white or bright in the front, and then more smoky, dual chromey in the outer. The last shade I'm going to use is also a glitter from Lily Posh. And then I'm going to clean up my eyes, put on my base, and show you the final look. So what we're going to do is just put this last bit of glitter right here. Kind of just a stripe, but I want to give it kind of like a butterfly wing effect. So I'm going to just give a little dips. Little dip. Because I love my bees turn up, but I love butterflies too. And the ribbon was really pretty with butterfly wings. And that's what gave me the idea to do it this way. Oh, yeah, that is totally what I was going for. Thank you, Amy, the Midnight Artist. You guys check my girl out. She's got a great channel too. She's hooking me up with this glitter ideas because I didn't know what I was doing. But as far as like the glue, she got me to get the NYX glitter glue. And I've been now living in all my glitter. We are big glitter fans. Alright, so I'm going to, like I said, put on my base and clean up and be back to show you the final results. Alright, there are some looks that make you want to stop and kiss yourself. You're so pretty, right? Just, oh. I'm wearing magnetic lashes again. Keep prying them out in the style Kissy. Yes, that's what I was called in middle school and high school. Just, nobody can put the Z's, but don't dox me. Don't call me by my real name. You know my name is Jovina Love. And I love being called Jovina Love. But other than that, thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. And please go visit the other ladies and say hi. Check out their charities of choice, their colors. I don't even know half of their colors are charities. So this is going to be awesome. And they're going to be shocked and shook. And I'm going to be shocked and shook. And you know, yeah, that's about it. Be good to each other. Be good to the world. If you're new here, hey, don't forget to give me a comment, like, subscribe. I love and have you join the family. Sorry I'm all over the place and I'm muttering and going blah, 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 but I'm just not feeling up to myself. So, I'm going to get off this camera and say sayonara to you all, and I love you. Be good. Bye.